Alright, welcome to 5-player game. I here am the assassin, and I have Fantasy, who is not Morgana. Why is... oh, right. Fantasy is Morgana, obviously. For some reason I was expecting to hover over and see, but that's not how it works. Let's see. I always try to make sure that people are okay with me recording, just to give them the option to tell me not to, and I won't, of course. It's actually a pity that I didn't record the last game, because the last game was really smooth, and it worked out all because of I was Percy, and Merlin off-picked me and the assassin. So I instantly knew what his team was, and then from there it was pretty smooth sailing. Alright, let's go with Franklin. Yeah, can do that. Assuming that you understand the benefits of off-picking, the only thing left is to just make sure that you don't repick something. For me, either way, Percy's not going to listen to me, and neither will Merlin. So the only one that I might be able to convince with my off-pick is the other VT. Well, the VT. But that's just, I mean, it's unlikely that he's going to make the big decisions. It's only going to be up to him if it's me and Morgana versus Merlin and Percy, and the VT has to decide which one to trust. Alright, I'll float the first one, pretty standard. It's a lot easier to hide in 3 people than it is to hide in 2, so yeah, no reason to tell to the far west. No reason to tell them that I'm a spy just yet. Yeah, we'll see what happens. So what's going to happen here is that everyone is going to, I guess, decide. Everyone's going to decide whether they liked the 2 of us together or not. If you do, then you add yourself to the mission. If not, then you pick something else. I will fail this one because in 3 that's the best I can do. It's the most I can hide in, and fail order tells me that I'm supposed to fail it and not Morgana. If you don't know fail order, I suggest you look at ProNub's video about it. And it's just so that 2 spies don't both put the fail, and then not only does to the far west know that both of us are spies, they also know that they each know that the other one is a good guy as well. Gives them way too much information, so in order to have only one person fail, that's an interesting pick. In order to make only one person fail, then there's a predetermined order. Alright. Alright, so Fantasy is going to be the hammer. So no matter what happens here, he'll have control. guys are picking me back. I think I'm gonna guess that he's not Merlin, because if I pick him and he picks me back, that's sort of him telling Percy that that I can be trusted. If it were just that I picked him and he picked someone else, and it's not, let's say even if he picked fantasy, it doesn't really mean that much. I mean, it could mean something that he's saying that he likes fantasy, but I think that there's an even stronger connection if I pick him and he picks me. Then he's sort of reaffirming that we're both good. But, I mean, it's still possible, but just I'll keep that in mind, that he might not be, and Franklin specifically picked To the Far West for his mission, M3.1. So that can make him Merlin trying to tell his Percy that To the Far West is good. Alright, so it's possible that these three will go out, that he'll pick the three of them. If he's Merlin, if he's not Merlin, I would expect him to pick that. Maybe. Let's see what he does, because if he's Merlin, then he obviously won't want to add himself to it, because, well, if he does, that'd be great. If he's Merlin, because he'll be adding Morgana, and then Percy will think that he's bad. Since he's not picking right away, I'm starting to really think that he's very possibly Merlin. As for To the Far West, what has he done? To the Far West, he picked me. Okay. Oh, come on, Mac. You know me better than that. What's ironic, though, Mac, is that in you making it obvious, or making it clear to me that you don't like being recorded, I felt the need to tell you that this was being recorded, otherwise you'd be uncomfortable. At least you'd know about it. And in doing that, you actually got recorded, and now I'm even saying this about you. I'm not really sure why you care about being, about playing, but not, you don't mind being in the chat. Fantasy rejected. Okay. It makes him look good. I think I'll do that. I think I could pin this on Franklin if he's Merlin, because he approved fantasy, but fantasy didn't approve him back. Now they just leveled the field. My point is that if he really is Merlin, then Percy looks at the two of them and tries to figure out what's what. And usually if the one that is rejecting the more dirty teams is going to be more likely to be Merlin. Ooh, good job. It's possible that he also thinks that he's Merlin, and the Merlin who accuses the other Merlin. So the question is whether we want to get the VT on our side or the Percy on our side. What we're going to try to do now is to assume that Franklin is Merlin, and if this plan doesn't work out, if this plan doesn't work out, in other words, as long as we're consistent and we throw him under the bus as Merlin, if it doesn't work out, then we know that the assumption that he's Merlin is probably wrong. And he could have figured it out some other way, but or he could have just guessed. Percy could have guessed, or the VT could have guessed. But it's likely that if we're wrong, it's because he's not really Merlin, and then we will have narrowed him down. Ooh. So by fantasy, So by fantasy liking me, then he's throwing to the far west under the bus because of M2, where it was the three of us. So in doing that, fantasy has accused him and him. So now this is only going to work if he's Merlin. Okay, so to fantasy Boca. So fantasy just gave himself away because I think Franklin is Merlin anyway, but fantasy just gave. He just gave himself away because he liked this exact same mission as mission 2, which failed, and he approved it. I'm kind of surprised that he did that. He plays here often. You wouldn't expect someone who's played a bunch to make that silly mistake, but sometimes when you're a spy, especially if you're Morgana, where you have to have a whole bunch of different teams in mind, you sort of can lose track of what you're supposed to know, because you have to, not only do you have to keep in mind what Percy knows and who your team is supposed to be, and not to res Merlin. You also have to keep in mind, what actually happened on the board, and to make sure that you're consistent with what you would know if you were res. So in this case, if you were res, you would know that, and he would know that he has to accuse one of us. Yeah, Franklin's dead. So now Percy, I think Kai will approve this if he's Percy. This is Merlin's pick, so obviously Percy knows who the real Merlin is because it's not fantasy. And Kaiser didn't map. didn't app, so maybe he's... I don't think I have a way of getting a clean team because I don't have him on my side. And there's no way to throw actual Merlin. Like, Percy and Merlin are both going to be on the same side. Maybe I can get an app. I have to pick Kai because he's the only one that didn't pick that. I should have repicked 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's what I should have done. And then Fantasy could off app. Yeah. That would have been the smarter thing to do. If I had pick 1, 2, 3, let him approve. Alright, I definitely should have done 1, 2, 3. I don't know if he would have approved just because Merlin approved 1, 2, 3. So if Merlin approves a team in crunch time, it's very unlikely that it's going to be dirty unless he's trying to do some super crazy move where he knows that there's no other way of not getting shot. But yeah, we might have had a better shot if Fantasy wouldn't have resigned, but yeah, overall it was okay.